रामानुजदयापात्रं ज्ञानवैराग्यभूषणं श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यं वन्दे वेदान्तदेशिकं लक्ष्मीनाथसमारम्भां नाथयामुनमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां यो नित्यमच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुक्मव्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये माता पिता युवतयस्तनया विभूतिः सर्वं यदेव नियमेन मदन्वयानाम् आद्यस्य नः कुलपतेर्वकुलाभिरामं श्रीमत्तदङ्घ्रियुगलं प्रणमामि मूर्धना भूतं सरश्च महदाह्वय भट्टनाथ श्रीभक्तिसार कुलशेखर योगिवाहान् भक्ताङ्घ्रिरेणुपरकाल यतीन्द्रमिश्रान् श्रीमत्पराङ्कुशमुनिं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यं वन्दे वृन्दावनचरं वल्लवी जनवल्लभं जयन्ती सम्भवन् धाम वैजयन्ती विभूषणं वाचं निजाङ्करसिकां प्रसमीक्षमाणः वक्त्रारविन्दविनिवेशितपाञ्चजन्यः वर्णत्रिकोणरुचिरे वरपुण्डरीके बद्धासनो जयति वल्लभचक्रवर्ती. A very good afternoon to all the Astikas who have gathered to appreciate the beauty of Yadavabhyudayam. Yadavabhyudayam is one of the Ptolemaic works of Swami Vedanta Deshika, who lived between 1268 and 1369 CE. He lived in Kanchipuram, Tiruvahindrapuram, Satyakalapuri in Karnataka, and back in Srirangam in Tamil Nadu. Besides being an acharya, a preceptor, he was a sagacious dietitian. He was a lesser known mathematician. He was a playwright, a dramatist, a peerless poet, a polyglot, and to sum it up, he was a polymath. Being a peerless poet, he has composed various poems. A set of morals and ethics that he has given us to the society is called Subhashita Neevi. He has given a work of 110 verses distributed in 2 chapters, which is titled Hamsa Sandesham, which is in lines with Kalidasa's Meghadutam. He has given a work whose topic is the holy sandals, the Padukas of the Lord, which is a work of over 1008 verses, and this is called Sri Ranganatha Paduka Sahasram. And to top it all, he has given a beautiful biography of Krishna, his pastimes, his regime, and his auspicious attributes. It is called a Yadavabhyudayam, which comprises of over 2600 verses in chaste Sanskrit. He wishes to call this, or wishes that the other poets around the world recognize this as a Kavya Ratnam, the gem amongst the poems. This work by a Visishtadvaita philosopher come poet called Vedanta Deshika has the uniqueness of being commented upon by Appaya Dikshita, an Advaitic scholar. In the last lesson, we had the opportunity to briefly discuss some of the shlokas from Sarga 1. I shall continue now. He then goes on to state, Namasya namata kshudran varadasya vararthinaha putraihi pitramata krida katham te kena varnyate. How will I describe your auspicious attributes or sports? He says, Namasya namataha kshudran varadasya vararthinaha. You end up paying obeisances, you do namaskarams to people who don't even deserve it. Yet, because it is your unique attribute to showcase such opposing gunams, which is called aghatita ghatana samarthyam, that even to Indra, who has always been paying his obeisances to you, you end up paying his obeisances. Why? Appaya Dikshita comments, Sarvaloka Kartavyasya Kshudran Alpan Indradinamapi Upendradhyavataraha Namataha. Upendradhyavataraha, Upendraha. Sahasranamam tells Upendrova Manaf Pramshuhu. He was born as the younger brother to Indra, to Aditi and Kashyapa. He was called Upendraha, later commonly, very famously known as Vamana. He ended up paying his obeisances, namaskarams to Indra. So, to Indra, you're offering your namaskarams, namasya namataha kshudran, varadasya vararthinaha. You are renowned in this world as Varadaha, Varadarajaha, Varam Dadati iti Varadaha. You are the king amongst the one who bestows or grants boons. On the other hand, you end up bestowing boons on others. Varadasya Vararthinaha. Varadasya Sarvaloka Varapradayakasya Tathapi Brahmadishu Vararthinaha. So even to people whom you have bestowed boons, you end up accepting boons from them. An example is Brahma. Another very famous example is that of Lord Shiva. Later in Harivamsham and other works that denote Krishna Avataram, we come across Krishna along with Jambavati made a Kailasha Yatra to seek Putra, to seek a son as a grace of Lord Shiva, and later called him by the name of Lord Shiva. Since he's Shambhu, this boy was called Shambha. Next he says, Putrehi Pitramata Krida. You are the one who is the father of all. You end up being the son of somebody. Putrehi Pitramata Krida. For that, Appai Dikshita says, Putrehi Kashyapadibihi Pitramataha. Kashyapadibihi. So for Kashyapa et al. So you can include Dasharatha and Vasudeva and so on. But here, why does he have to invoke Kashyapa? Because Kashyapa is now present as Vasudeva. Putrehi Kashyapadibihi Pitramataha. Te tava krida katham kena prakarena pravritta. How will I describe your pastimes? He concludes. Then he goes on in the next verse saying, Yan moolam akhilam karyam yada moolam adhimahe lakshyam yadasi tadasi yoganam lakshmi kaustubha lakshanam. So he describes the Lord now. He says the one who has Shri Mahalakshmi in his Vakshasthalam. So who's Shri Mahalakshmi? She is the eternal consort of the Lord, like Vishnu Shrir Anapayini, Devatve Devadeheyam, Manushyatve cha Manushi, Raghavatve Abhavat Sita, Rukmani, Krishna Janmani. So as he describes, he says, Mahalakshmi, why should he position Mahalakshmi? Because there are two essential identifying characteristics of the Lord. One is a gem, a priceless gem called as Kaustubham. On the other is a mole, which is called Shrivatsam. Shrivatsam, the mole, is the place which Mahalakshmi has chosen for keeping her lotus. So lotus is her abode. So the lotus, her abode, sits on Shrivatsam. So it is rightly called Shrivatsam because Shri sits there. So here is a lotus, the mole, a lotus, and on the lotus is Mahalakshmi. Mahalakshmi's feet are hued red. They are red hued because she has applied the mardani on it. We call it the mehendi or that which gives the redness. Padalaksha Rasankam tells Vedanta Deshika. So here is Mahalakshmi. On the other is Shrivatsam. What is here is Kaustubham. What is Kaustubham? It is a resplendent, priceless gem. Now, what are these? Why are these positioned? Because in Vedanta, Parashara in Vishnu Puranam tells, Kaustubham is the representative of a Jivatma. Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bahunam Savidadati Kaman. So here you have Kaustubham. Kaustubham is a representative of the Jivatma. And here you have Shrivatsam, which is a representative of all the Achetana Tattvam in this world. So if Kaustubham is a representative of Chetana, the Jivatma Tattvam, here you have Shrivatsam, which is a representative of the Achetana Tattvam. Since the Lord is the controller and the substratum to both Chetana and Achetana, he holds both of them as his body. Chetana, Achetana, both are in his body. So he says, Yenmoolam akhilam karyam, akhilam, without sparing anything, akhilam karyam, yadamoolam adhimahe, lakshyam tadasi yoganam, Lakshmi Kaustubha Lakshanam. Lakshmi Kaustubha Lakshanam. So Lakshmi and the Kaustubha describe his supremacy. So as he continues further, he says, Yadekam aksharam brahma sarvamnaya samanvitam tarakam sarvajantunam tattvam tavacha vachakam brahmanaha pranavam kuryad adanvante cha sarvada. So though the Vedas have been extremely magnanimous to state that in entirety it speaks about Brahman, if there is one particular entity or particular aksharam which talks about it, which is Pranavam, in common parlance it is called Omkaram. A, U, Ma. This is Pranavam. Om iti vyaharedu nama iti paschat narayanaayeti uparishtat Om iti ekaksharam nama iti dve akshare narayanaayeti panchaksharani. So here we have Pranavam, which recognizes the Brahman. So Yadekam Aksharam Brahma Sarvamnaya Samanvitam Amnaya. So all Vedas have unanimously agreed that Brahman is represented by Pranavam. Tarakam Sarvajantunam. Who is that Brahman? What is that Pranavam? It is Tarakam Sarvajantunam. It is that which helps all the Jantus cross the ocean of birth and death. Tarakam. Tarakam means that which helps cross. So here he says, Tarakam Bhavarnava Taranopaya Bhutam. Bhavarnava. Bhavarnava means this life is a huge ocean. This Ekam Aksharam Brahma helps us cross. Tarakam means to cross. Taraka mantramu korina dorikenu dhanyudanai tini voranna, tells Bhadrachala Ramadas in Telugu Kirtana. So here, Tatutvam Tavacha Vachakam. Tatutvam, incidentally, Tatutvam are two words used in the very important Upanishadic passage, Tatutvam Asi. So for that Jivatma, which is the body to Paramatma, this Yadekam Aksharam Brahma, this Pranavam is one of the easiest ways available to cross the ocean of birth and death. Then he continues further. He says, Patnya saha nishedushya padma lakshana lakshaya Swechayaiva Sharirinya Suchitaishwarya Sampadam. So he says, Patnya Shri Mahalakshmiya Suchita Aishwarya Sampat Parabhava Rupa Aishwarya Prakarshaha Yasya Tam. So Patnya Saha. This is a beautiful Puranic passage. Lakshmiya Saha Rishikeshaha Devya Karunya Rupaya Rakshakaha Sarvasiddhante Vedante Apicha Giyate. What this tells us, if there is an act of protection by the Lord, he is never alone. He is not bachelor Narayana. He always comes with his wife. Lakshmiya Saha Hrishikeshaha Devya Karunya Rupaya. To remind us of this passage, Vedanta Deshika has replaced. He has said, Patnya Saha Nishedushya Padmalakshana Lakshaya Swechayaiva Sharirinya. What is her ability? What is the ability of Mahalakshmi? Swechayaiva Sharirinya. Swaicha. Like the Lord, she also can take forms that she wishes. Suchitaishwarya Sampadam. So, when Mahalakshmi is positioned and she is also with the Lord, it denotes that there is compassion. So here Apai Dikshita states, Hrischate Lakshmischa Patnyau iti param brahmadhikritya shravanat Lakshmi patitvam parabhavalingam iti bhavaha. So this states that he is identified by the presence of Mahalakshmi. He goes on. Next. The next verse he says, Chaturnanam purusharthanam Prasavo yat samashrayat Havyakavya prasuresha Dhiryate daitya bharataha Chaturnanam. So the one who is able to grant four. What is this four? Chaturnanam Purusharthanam. So we have Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksham. The one who is capable of granting all the four Purusharthams. Prasavaha Yatsamashrayat. The one who is able to yield such good. Havya Kavya Prasuresha, the one who is able to grant phalam to Havya Kavya. Havya, what is Havyam? What is Kavyam? Apai Dikshita states, Havyam Devartham Annam. Towards the Lord's gods, celestial gods, we have Rinam, debt. So that goes through Havyam. What is Kavyam? Kavyam Pitrartham. So it is towards our mains, Pitrus. So to produce children, one must be devoid of the rinam that we have towards devas and pitrus. Deva rinam, pitru rinam. That is why in Srimad Ramayanam too, if I remember it right, in Balakandam, Valmiki states that the herbal concoction which came as a divine prasadam to be distributed amongst the principal wives of Dasharatha came with Agni Purusha. So this payasam was carried in a golden pot with a silver lid, if I remember right. Either it's golden pot with a silver lid or a silver pot with a golden lid. There could be a difference. But both these metal names have been mentioned, aurum and argentum, AU and AG. Why? Because for that, Govindaraja, the commentator, states that gold is a metal, an element which can help one annihilate the rinam, the debt towards devas. Likewise, silver is used as a metal and entity to drive away the debt that one has towards Pitru. So because both the rinams have to go away, how does Vedanta Deshika state this? He says, Deva Sura Samara Samaya Samudita Nikhila Nirjara Nirdharita Niravadhika Mahatmya Dashavadana Damita Daivata Parishada Bhyathita Dasharathi Bhava Dinakara Kula Kamala Divakara Divishadadhipati Rana Sakacharana Chatura Dasharata Charama Runa Vimochara Charama Runa Vimochana Charama Runam, the last debt by producing the child went away, of that rinam went away by Dasharatha producing the child. So what is the idea behind that? Gold and silver. That is towards Deva rinam and Pitru rinam. Likewise, Mahalakshmi has a beautiful golden garland with silver lining. Suvarna Rajatasrajam tells Sri Suktam in the Khila Bhagam of Rigveda. Likewise, here when Vedanta Deshika says Kavya Kavya Prasuresha Dhiryate Daitya Bharataha, to take away the burden caused by the Daityas, here we have Havya Kavya, Havyam Devarthamannam Kavyam Pitrartham. Right? And then he goes on to state in the next verse, which is Prasfurantam Priyasyeva Parirambhabhilashinam Dakshinad Itaram Bahum Dakshina Bahvamanyata. So, why did all this praising happen? It is said that Bhumi Devi suffered at the hands of various demons who were tormenting not only the citizens but also her. So she went to Brahma, who was seated at the top of the Meru Parvatam, which is kind of, many scholars say it is the Pamir mountains atop Jammu and Kashmir, close to Afghanistan, Tajikistan and all of that. So they say that is Brahma's abode. So while they describe this, they say that Mother Earth along with the celestials went to Brahma, who went along with her to the Lord to describe her situation. So she praised the Lord. In fact, in Bhagavatam, they say Purusham Purusha Suktena. It seems they recited Purusha Suktam. Here they say Prasfurantam Priyasyeva Parirambhabhilashinam Dakshinad Itarambahum Dakshina Bahvamanyata. Because now the Lord heard her completely and wanted to give some normalcy and some consolation to her, he said, Abhaya Pradhanam, don't worry. The moment he said that, or the moment he decided to tell that, Dakshinad itaram bahum, the hand which is not right. Look at the word. So right has two connotations. Right means the right side, or second thing which means what is correct. That is also right. So what generally in our Sanatana Dharma, it is said, try to perform most of the rituals through your right hand. Because it is believed that left hand is used for other purposes, not so holy. When I say holy, it doesn't mean you can live without the left hand. They say preferably use the right hand. So right is Dakshina, left is Vama. So instead of saying her left hand quivered, because in Lakshana Shastram, for the woman, when the left hand side of the body, be it the eye, be it the hand, be it the leg, when that quivers, it is a sign of good hope. That is why in Ramayanam, when Rama and Sugriva sign a memorandum of understanding, Sita's left thigh winks. Sita Kapindra Kshanada Charanam Rajiva Hemo Jwalanopamani Sugriva Rama Pranaya Prasange Vamani Netrani Samam Spuranti. There Valmiki tells Vamam. But here Vedanta Deshika tells, instead of using the word left, he said whatever is left beyond right, which is left. So Dakshinad itaram bahum, her left side started to quiver. Dakshinad itaram bahum, Dakshina bahvamanyata. So here he quotes Vamabhagascha narinam sreshtha. For the left hand side for the woman is very good. Pumsam tu dakshinaha, for the men right is good. Dane devadi pujayam spande alankarane picha iti smritehe shubha suchakataya prashastyat bahumene, he says. Next, he continues, Avatarya bhuvo bharam avataro mamamaraha anadini dhanam dharmam akshatam sthapayishyati. So here he says, the Lord tells Bhumi Devi and other celestials, do not worry, I will be born. Avatarya bhuvo bharaha. So this is very akin to the verse Paritranaya Sadhunam, which is called Avatara Rahasyam in Bhagavad Gita. So he is going to be born, grown, and then going to say that. Now this verse comes much before. Avatarya bhuvo bharaha. Do not worry, I will be born for the good. Avataro mama maraha anadi nidhanam dharmam akshatam sthapayishyati. I have no beginning, no end. Do not worry, I will be born to restore normalcy and dharmam in this world, he tells. Next. Iditananaghadeshaha samadishya janardanaha avadhirita dugdabdhir dharmadhura dugdabdhir madhuraya manodadhe. So after having consoled them, the Lord now decided that he will be forsaking his abode of residence, Dugdambudhi, the milky ocean, and will be born in Madhura. Today we call it Mathura. That is Madhura in Shastra. Madhu means honey, sweet. So he says, Avadhirita Dugdabdhir Madhuraya Manodade. I will leave this place and will be born in Madhura. So is this a verse from our Puranas? Yes. Yeshanarayana Shriman Kshirarnavaniketanaha Nagaparyankamutsrijya Hyagato Madhuram Purim. He is now born in Madhura. It's a beautiful verse. So the Lord decided that he will be born in Madhura Nagaram. Next, Vedanta Deshika continues. Shringara Viradbhuta Chitra Rupam Garbhe Trilokaika Nidhim Vahantyah Paravara Kridita Karburani Dveda Bhavandau Hrida Lakshanani. So he says the three sentiments, rasas that the Lord showcases is Shringara, Veera, Adbhuta Chitra Rupam. Shringara rasam has to do with love. How you're going to express love. The Naika Bhavam is all that we talk about. Veera. So in this avataram, what are all the gunams that the Lord is going to exhibit? Shringara rasam. Veera. When he fights Mushtika, Chanura, Jarasandha, so many asuras, he shows Veera rasam. Adbhuta. If he lifts a mountain, if he dances on a snake, it causes amazement. Adbhuta Chitra Rupam. Now, all these gunas are going to be exhibited by the Lord. But where is the Lord now? He is inside the womb, uterus of Devaki. By then, even Devaki started showing those rasas on her face, it seems. Shringara Viradbhuta Chitra Rupam Garbhe Trilokaika Nidhim Vahantyaha. Who is the one whom she is carrying? He is the Trilokya Nidhi, the treasure of the three worlds. Paravara Kridita Karburani Dveda Bhavandau Hrida Lakshanani. So she was showing both supernatural and sportive qualities at the same time because she was carrying the Lord. Next, Deshika continues, Asesha Vaidairadhigamya Bhumna Siddhena Siddhaischa Nishevitena Amanushi Nunam Abhuta Yatnat Krishnena Kena Pirasayanena. So Devaki, she shone with a superhuman luster. So she was very, very resplendent because she was carrying the Lord. What more does he say? So she looked also like Siddhas who had attained the perfection in yoga. So he says, Siddhaischa Nishevitena, Siddhena Siddhaischa. Why? Because whom she is carrying is the master of yogic sciences. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna. Amanushi Nunamabhuta Yatnat Krishnena Kenapi Rasayanena. Isn't she carrying the Rasayanam in her? What is Rasayanam? See, in Srimad Ramayanam, we come across this word. In Balakandam, when Vishwamitra narrates Kurma Avataram to Rama and Lakshmana, he says Rasayanam emerged. He doesn't use the word Amritam because he calls it Rasayanam. What is Rasayanam? That concoction, herbal concoction in Ayurveda Shastram, which when consumed will keep one young. It will not mean it will not cause any death. If you are born, you have to die. So Amritam is not that which causes no death. It may try to delay the death or it may delay the process of you aging. That's all. But death is inevitable. So Siddhaischa Nishevitena Amanushi Nunamabhuta Yatnat Krishnena Kenapi Rasayanena. Whom is she carrying? She is carrying one Rasayanam which when consumed or relished will not give an opportunity to be born again. So next is another verse. Shatahrida Bandhuraya Swakantya Sanchari Jambunada Bimba Kalpa Trayanta Siddhena Rasayanena Kalena Bheje Kaladhauta Lakshmi. So she was looking like a golden idol, it seems. Why? Because she was a combination of many metals. How is the Lord? The Lord is dark. Why is he dark? In another work called Tattvamukta Kalapam, Vedanta Deshika gives 3 reasons. Lakshmi Netrotpala Shrihi Satata Parijaya Desha Sambardhyamanaha Nabhi Nali Karinkan Madhukara Patali Datta Hastavalambaha Asmakam Sampadoganna Virala Tulasi Dhama Sanjata Bhuma Kalindi Kantihari Kalayatu Vapushaha Kalima Kaita Bharehe. So here he states that there are 3 reasons why the Lord could have been dark. One is because the Lord has a beautiful lotus emerging from his navel. The lotus flower is so filled with smell and taste, the nectar in it, that a swarm of bees start hovering around the flower. The bees are dark. The Lord's body is as resplendent as a gem. So when the swarm of dark bees hover around the lotus flower which is above the navel of the Lord, the reflection of that black hue of the bees falls on him and he is appearing dark. Madhukara Patali Hasta Datta Hastavalambaha. The other reason is he sports the Tulasi garland. Tulasi has various varieties. So there is a variety called Krishna Tulasi which has dark hue in it. So it seems he sports that garland. The dark hue from the leaves of the Krishna Tulasi will fall on his resplendent body and he could have turned dark. Third reason is it seems Mahalakshmi is sporting collyrium, anjanam in her eyes. the darkness of the collyrium falls onto the air through the Schrödinger equation, which we read in quantum physics or chemistry. It falls on the Lord and he is turned dark. He appears dark. Lakshmi netrotpala shrihi satata parichaya desha sambadhyamanaha. So one of these reasons he could have turned dark. That is why, because he is dark and he keeps looking at Yamuna waters, Yamuna has turned dark. Kalindi kantihari kalayatu vapushaha kalima kaitabharehe. So he is dark. So she is carrying the Lord who is dark. Now, how is the Lord's chest? It has got Mahalakshmi. How is Mahalakshmi? Hiranyavarnam Harinim. She is gold hued. How is her feet? Padalaksha Rasankam. It is red hued. Red hued feet of Mahalakshmi, who is gold hued, who is housed in the chest of Mahavishnu Krishna, who is dark hued, who is in the fair Devaki. The concoction of the fairness of Devaki, the darkness of the Lord, the golden hue of Mahalakshmi, the red hue of her feet. What will happen is it gives a beautiful concoction like silver, it seems. Shatakrida bandhuraya swakantya sanchari jambunada bimba kalpa trayanta yugmena rasayanena kalena bheje kaladhauta lakshmi. Then he continues, Kale babhase vasudeva patnyaha कर्पूरलिप्तेव कपोल शोभा शशिप्रभा सप्तम गर्भकान्तिः च्युता वसिष्ठेव शनैरुदीर्णा. It seems her cheeks have look as if a thin layer of camphor, white camphor, has been powdered and has been applied to her cheeks. You must have noticed a lot of cricket players who play in the scorching sunlight to have applied a cream. While I had been to lectures in Rangoon of Brahmadesham, Myanmar. I saw the local people, the Myanmaris or the Burmese, have applied a certain sandal-like paste. I don't know, I don't remember the exact name. It could be Tanaka or Tanka or something. So that is generally used for skin care to avoid sunburns and all of it. So here Devaki is sporting camphor powder, it seems. Why? Karpura litteva kapola shobha. Why? Because before carrying the 8th fetus, the 7th one, who is Sankarshana Balarama, is an Aveshyavataram of the Lord, Adisesha Avataram. Adisesha is white hue. Since she carried for a small period of time Adisesha in her womb, that whiteness was attached to her skin, it seems. Karpura litteva kapola shobha sashiprabha saptama garbha kantihi. The 7th garbham's kanti is there. Vedanta Deshika tells, and then he takes us to the next verse. Raksha vidhau rakshasadanavanam karagrihe kamsa niyoga bhajam sampashyamana sakridikshitava sankshobhayama samanam sisaisha. Here he says that while Devaki used to look at the watchman of the jail, earlier she used to always be teary-eyed, always crying, because 6 children were killed, the 7th one was transferred. She had no reason to rejoice. There were only reasons for her to cry, sob and worry. But now when she looked at those watchmen, they were terrified looking at her. They were wondering, how did she get this? Because they were oblivious of the fact that the one whom she is carrying now, the Parabrahman, the Paramatma, has been controlling this world. That controlling ability would have been slightly transferred to the mother now. That's why she is able to view. Next. Bhukta pura yena vasundhara sa vishva bhukta mama garbha bhutaha iti dhruvam suchanamacharanti tatta drisham natitakam vatatana. So she was pregnant. And generally during pregnancy, a lot of the experienced women here will know that during pregnancy, a woman will desire for certain things to eat, and she may also resist, or she may not like certain things. And that will be transferred to the child as well. Later, the child will also like what the mother has liked. So here, Bhukta Pura Yena Vasundharasa. So here she started scraping the sand on the floor of the jail and used to consume gulp of mud. Vasudeva was petrified looking at this. How could a woman consume mud? But he was oblivious of the fact she is not doing it on her own, because the child whom she is carrying was once Varaha Uddhritasi Varahena Krishnena Shatabahuna. So the child had once rescued his beloved wife Bhumi Devi, who's Bhumi, earth. So out of the love that he has for his wife, he had rescued her. Since he is being carried, she could have commemorated that event by consuming the sand, or it could be a trailer for what is going to happen after Krishna's birth, because he is going to consume mud, earth. Taige bayalli jagavannu torida jagadodharaka nama udupi Sri Krishna Krishna ni begane baro. So this is a beautiful composition in Kannada. So here Idi dhruvam suchanamacharanti tattadrisham natitakam tatana. Next he says, paravaranam prabhavasya pumsah prakashakatvam pratipadyamanam abhavayan bhavita chetasastam vidyanidhim vishwapita mahincha. So the wise and the devout, it seems, Vedanta Deshika tells, looked upon her as a repository of knowledge, because the one whom she is carrying is Veda himself, the quintessence of Veda Vedanta. Yecha Veda Vido Vipraha, Yecha Dhyatma Chetasaha, Te Vadanti Mahatmanam Krishnam Dharmam Sanatanam, tells Mahabharatam. So, Vidyanidhim Vishwapita Mahincha. So, by paying their obeisances to Devaki, they were also paying obeisances to Brahma's grandmother, because Brahma's Lord, father, Pita is the Lord, and the Lord is now being carried by Devaki. So it is the paternal grandmother of Brahma. So Vishwapita Mahincha, Vedanta Deshika states. Next he continues. Aseshata sa kamamajata nidra matum pitruteva padani chakre adhyastalokana vadhirayanti bhadrasanam bhavita parameshtya. So she displayed the signs of a supreme lady, like reclining on the bed without actually sleeping, appearing to measure the worlds by. Now what she did was, the way she used to behave was as if the Lord is behaving in Vaikuntham. Generally, they'll say whatever the mother does, the child will do later. But here it is the vice versa. Whatever the child as Parabrahman, Paramatma is doing, the mother is mimicking. Adhyasta lokan avadhirayanti bhadrasanam bhavita parameshtya. The way she used to sit, Vasudeva was bewildered. Looking at her, she was sitting as if she was the queen and she was commanding people. Because the one whom she is carrying is Paramatma, who has been doing that till then and will do it forever. Next. Sesheshayanam garudena yantim padme nishannam adhiratna pitham hayashanair ashrita vandikrityam swamakritim swapna drisha dadarsha. Sesheshayanam garudena yantim padme nishannam adhiratna pitham hayananair ashrita vandikrityam swamakritim swapna drisha dadarsha. So as she used to walk, the pregnant Devaki used to walk, she started feeling that she was flying. Sesheshayanam garudena yantim. Like how you go on a roller coaster ride in some theme park, she had a feeling as if she was flying. She thought there's something wrong. So then she started sleeping on the ground, because there was no other place to go around. There was no doctor close by. So she was worried whether this child will last or not. So she slept on the ground. While she used to sleep, she used to have a slithery, slimy feeling on the ground. Something was very greasy in nature. She was not aware what these feelings were. Vedanta Deshika tells, realizing that Paramatma is within the womb of Devaki, Garuda became the vehicle to the Lord even while he was housed in Devaki's Garbham, and Adisesha became the couch on the ground. Sesheshayanam Garudena yanti. Because Garuda is carrying both the mother and the child, she had a feeling she was flying. Because Adisesha became the couch to the mother and the child, she had a feeling that the ground was greasy or slithery, unaware of the fact that she was being served by two great Nityasuris, Garuda and Ananta. Next, in the next shloka, Apatyalabham yaduvirapatnya mahodadhau magna samuthitena tadvamshamanyena samikshya purvam praptam pratitena purodhaseva. Here, he tells that to welcome the incoming guest into the family, member of the family, it seems the progenitor of the dynasty race, which is Chandravamsha, Chandra, took a bath in the waters and emerged out of it. It is like as if a priest is coming. Apatyalabham yaduvirapatnya mahodadhau magna samuthitena tadvamshamanyena samikshya purvam praptam pratitena purodhaseva. So here, then Chandradeva emerged to say that the night had started. Next, he continues. Vishodhita Vishnupadat Ksharanti Vishangmukhi Sagara Vriddhi Heto Tamomayim Surya Sutam Nigirya Jyotsna Nadi Shodamapi Vyamunchat. So as the pristine white rays of the moon started falling into the prison, it fell on the Lord and then got reflected back. The white pristine rays that got reflected back from the womb looked as if the pristine waters, transparent waters of Ganga were emerging from the Lord's feet. Then as he was dark, he represented Surya Suta. Surya Suta means the daughter of Surya, Surya Deva, who is Yamuna. So he himself was dark. Next, since on one side the moon was rising, the other side the sun was setting, there was a little bit of tinge of redness left on the sky, so which represented the Shona Nadi, some say it is Saraswati. So if there is some punyam associated with bathing in Triveni Sangamam, where there is a confluence of three rivers, similarly, we have here three rivers coming into one picture. Vishodhita Vishnupadat Ksharanti Vishwangmukhi Sagara Vriddhi Heto Tamomayim Surya Sutam Nigirya Jyotsna Nadi Shonamapi Vyamunchat. Jyotsna Nadi, he describes. Then he goes on in the next verse. Sahodita Chandramasa Babhase Jyotsna Payodhe Rupajata Raga Tadatane Sanjanane Pishaure Sahayini Sagara Sambhaveva. So Mahalakshmi also emerged. It looked as if Mahalakshmi also emerged because she wanted to join the Lord. Parashara Maharshi in Vishnu Purana tells, Nityevesha Jaganmata Vishnu Shri Ranapayini Devatve Devadeheyam Manushyatve cha Manushi Raghavatve Abhavat Sita Rukmini Krishna Janmani. So in Krishna Janmam she emerged like that. So here it is the emergence of the red hue that determines Mahalakshmi also coming, because the Lord is not born alone. That is why in the verse of Bhagavatam, Tamadbhutam Balakamambujekshanam Chaturbhujam Shankagadaryudharyudam Srivatsa Lakshmam Galashobhikaustuvam. Srivatsam denotes the mole and it also denotes the seat of Mahalakshmi. So he continues, which is Avadita Dirita Vadya Ghosham Dishabhirame Bridita Divya Geetam Satam Upasthapita Satvalasyam Sangeeta Mangalyam Abhuttadani. So when the Lord is going to be manifested or is going to be born, there was Sangeetam. What is Sangeetam? In our parlance, it is music. But what does Appaya Dikshita state? So the commentator states, Sangeeta Mangalyam Vadya Geeta Nritya Trikarupa Mangalyam Abhut. So there should be the playing of the instrument, the playing of music, one sings vocal, and then Nrityam, there should be dance. So in another verse, when the Lord brought Mother Earth from the oceanic waters, there is a verse which goes like Purvam Varaha Vapusha Purushottamena Bhogyena Bhogya Sadane Samudikshitayaha Uchita Mridanga Nadam. So there was the playing of the Mridangam or Vadyam there. So Geetam Nrittam cha Vadyam cha Trayam Sangeetam Uchyate iti Sangeeta Ratnakare. So here the drums are generated and on their own so it was a music of drums. So probably the conch shells could have been blown, or there was a dancing of the celestials. It was a very festive season. Though his birth may have happened in the jail, there was so much of grandeur around that birth. Next comes a very important verse. Ajasva janmar hatayanu yamashtamin yadava bhavamichan dvitiyaya bhavita yoga nidra sabhutadanim prathamatithinam. So as the Lord was born, Yam Ashtami, it was a Ashtami Tithi. Ashtami is the 8th day, the 8th Tithi, either from Amavasya or Paurnima. So if it is new moon or full moon, from whichever you take Ashtami Tithi. So there will be roughly 2 Ashtamis every month. But this is Krishna Ashtami, Krishna Paksham Ashtami. From Paurnami, you've got Prathama, Dvitiya, Tritiya, Chaturthi, Panchami, Sashti, Saptami, Ashtami. So this is the Ashtami Tithi. Like how he was born in Ashtami Tithi, when the Navami Tithi was born, the girl was born to Yashoda. Remember that our day calculation, 12:1 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. in the night is our calculation. But a Tithi need not be that way. It could start at 3 p.m. this day, this afternoon, and could last till 2:30 the next day. So if I take, for example, tomorrow's Ashtami, if it ends by 3 p.m., Navami will start that day itself. So Krishna must have been born on Ashtami, but not in the start of the Ashtami, towards the end of it. Because when the end of Ashtami comes, Krishna is born, then Ashtami stops, then Navami Tithi is born. That is when the girl child was born to Yashoda. So we generally treat Durga Devi or Parvati Devi as the sister of the Lord. When I say sister, not born of the same mother, not A positive, B positive blood group. It is about the girl who is born next day to him, who wants to protect her brother. So she is like a fortress to her brother. The word for fortress or some protection in Sanskritam is Durga. So she is called Durga. So Varaguru Janani Madashamani Mahisha Suramati Mandagamani Mangala Vara Pradayini Sarasi Janaba Sodari Shankari Pahi Mam Sarasi Janaba Sodari. So she is treated as a sister. So Dvitiyaya Bhavida Yoga Nidra. So now the poet comes with a beautiful poetic fantasy. See, generally when we learn Vedic scriptures from our gurus, Prathama, the Tithi after Amavasya or Paurnami, is not considered auspicious to learn. So Prathama Tithi is not auspicious. It is as inauspicious as Ashtami or Navami. Now how is this? Vedanta Deshika takes 2 Tithis, Ashtami, Navami. Who is born on Ashtami? Krishna. Who's born on Navami? The daughter to Yashoda, the girl child. But we hold both of them in such love and respect, both Krishna and Parvati Devi. And on the other side, we have Prathama Tithi. Prathama Tithi is also not held auspicious. Now he equates them. The day Krishna was born, that Ashtami Tithi, from that day onwards, it got prominence and it became Prathama. Now this Prathama Tithi should not be construed in the meaning of Prathama Tithi from from Paurnami or Amavasya. Prathama here means first. So in our calculation, which is the best of the first Tithi, he says Prathama. What is Dvitiya then? Navami. So Prathama and Dvitiya in his understanding is Ashtami and Navami. It's a beautiful, see, you will have to appreciate poetry to understand this. More than getting into the logic of it, it is the poetic beauty that determines. Next, he tells about the horoscope of Krishna. Probably that will require a little more explanation. We will deal with that in the next lecture. Kavitarkika Simhaya Kalyana Gunashaline Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave